Good morning, students. Today we will study chapter 4, Understanding Laws. And in this lesson, we will try to understand, do laws apply to all? So this is the title of the chapter, Understanding Laws. First of all, we will try to understand what is the meaning of law. So there is a certain definition of laws. The law is a set of legal rules. So this is a number of rules mentioned that governs the way members of a society act towards one another. So this set of legal rule governs the habits of the members and act towards one another. So this is the one meaning of the law. And another meaning is given as per the definition of Woodrow Wilson. So he says, law is that portion of the established habit and thought of mankind which has gained distinct and formal recognition in the shape of uniform rules backed by the authority and power of the government. So this is a definition made by Woodrow Wilson. He says it is a portion that establishes habit, thought of mankind, and it is recognized by the rules supported by the authority and power of the government, and laws are required for the society. Why? The one reason, to regulate the behavior of the individual, because individual may be uncontrolled, and that's why we need to control the behavior of the people to correspond with what is acceptable to the majority of a individual. What is the good thing that to be passed to the majority of the individuals? What is the favorable thing that to be applied to all the human beings? That is the meaning. So the next questions appeared before us. Do laws apply to all? Of course, this is a disputable question if there is no rule of law. For example, we can extract the passage from the text, that is a government official helps his son go into hiding because his son has been given a 10-year jail sentence by a district court for a crime that he has committed. Now you think that the government official's actions were right? Should his son be exempt from the law just because of his father is economically and politically powerful? No, this is wrong. If the person is rich, if the person is powerful, if the person is in power, if the person has authority, should we give him some exemption from the law just because of his authority, because of his power? No. So we can discuss here in this regard. After the independence, we had formed Constituent Assembly to frame the constitution for the country, and in this Constituent Assembly all the people were agreed there should be no arbitrary exercise of power in independent India, and therefore Constituent Assembly members had made a provision of several provisions to establish rule of law, and all these rules would be applicable to everybody without making any discrimination on the basis of birth, caste, race, language, etc. And therefore, Constituent Assembly instituted several provisions in the Constitution that would establish the rule of law. And these laws are equally applicable to all the people, and no one can be above the law. So, of course, all these people are equal before the law. And the most important to these that all persons in independent India are equal before law, and any crime that or any violation of the law that is violated by a person would get a certain punishment, and he has to go through certain process, that is a trial. So in this way, all these laws are applicable to all the people of the country without any discrimination. Before going to ahead, we must discuss, or we must look back to the past. So what was the formation of law in ancient India? So at that time there were many innumerable laws, but these were overlapping local laws. How? So there were many regions, many people, many kingdom, and many authorities. So of course, one region, second region, third region. So crime is same in this region, punishment would be harsh. The same type of crime by the person, punishment is somewhat moderate. And third reason, first two, like the same crime, but the punishment is different from these reasons. And that's why these were laws, but overlapping local laws. And apart from this, those days the people or communities who were powerful communities enjoyed different degrees of autonomy in administering these laws. I mean, those people, high caste, low caste, and high caste people were enjoying the autonomy in administering these laws. So person belong to high community, high society was getting a moderate punishment. Person belonging to low caste was getting severe punishment. So this was the this was the condition in ancient India while applying laws to the people. Now, at the same time, after the British rule, these changes occurred slowly during the colonial period, because British had established different types of laws to control the Indian people, and in this way that there were changes in the rule of law in India. Another question arises here. Who introduced the rule of law in India? So some people said British colonialists introduced the rule of law, and that's why they are getting credit of this rule of law in India. Apart from this, there is a dispute on the claim. Some people said that the laws established by colonial or British government were very arbitrary and harshful to the people. So second rule, who is in favor of the Indian people who played major role, that they said that many legal professional people had contributed in making the rule of law in India, because British government had imposed harsh laws on the people of India, and Indian nationalists had opposed and struggled to change these laws. Of course, there is a dispute. Still, we can say that although many laws are introduced by the British people, but these were arbitrary and harshful and painful for the Indian people, and Indian people had played major role in bringing the smooth and simple laws for the Indian people. So there is one example how the British laws were arbitrary, how the British laws imposed by the government were very harshful and painful for the Indian people. One example we can understand Sedition Act of 1870. So this was law passed by the British government in 1870. So according to this law, the provisions are made here that any person protesting or criticizing the British government could be arrested without due trial, no question, no warrant, and no inquiry. That was the policy of the government according to this law. And that's why Indian nationalists opposed this law, criticized this law, because it was against the fundamental rights of the people. It was against the freedom of the people, and that's why these people had protested, opposed, and criticized. And Indian nationalists wanted equality and desired to change the idea of law, this Sedition Act, to be changed. And by the end of 19th century, how we can say that how Indian nationalist people had contributed or played a major role in framing the rule of law in India. That in 19th century, at the end of 19th century, many Indian people got education in foreign universities. They got degrees of laws from other universities, and started their profession and emerged as a profession emerged and demanded respect in colonial courts, because these people were also scholar in legal system, and that's why these people had pressurized the government to make such laws. Those laws would be simple and acceptable to the people. Sedition, it is a word, and this applies, its meaning of this word, this applies to anything that the government might consider as stirring up resistance or rebellion against it. So sedition means that is a rajdroha, that the people or any action of the people of the country which is stirring up resistance or rebellion against the government. So this action would be considered as sedition against the government. And that's why Sedition Act of 1870, the nationalists considered this law as arbitrary or injustice to the people, and that's why these people had vehemently opposed. Persons arrested for a variety of reasons. Those people were suspected, they were also arrested, and there was no clarification why these people are going to arrested. No warrant, no order, no inquiry. Only if government desired, that person is suspected, that person is dangerous to the government, that person would be arrested. And those arrested often kept in jail without a trial, no presentation in the presence of magistrate, no presentation in the court, and there was no trial. And that's why these laws were opposed or protested by the Indian nationalists. Another law passed by the British government, that is a Rowlatt Act. This was also arbitrary law because it is a comparable to the Sedition Act of 1870, and this act allowed the British government to imprison any person without due trial, same type of Sedition Act of 1870. And despite the opposition of the people, vehemently opposed by the people, this act came into effect on 10th March 1919. And afterward, to oppose this law, so mass had gathered, and there were two leaders. On 10 April, Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu arrested because these leaders were opposing the Rowlatt Act. And that's why, to oppose the arrest of Satyapal and Saifuddin, public meeting was held at Jallianwala Bagh on 13 April 1919 at Amritsar. And on this day, there was curfew imposed by the British government, and mob gathered was prohibited by law. At that time, General Dyer came into garden with his troops, and he ordered to fire on the public, those people were attending meeting. And in this incident, several hundreds of people died, many people injured, and this was the brutal action of the government that shown in Rowlatt Act. And that's why we can't say that British people or colonial rule had established a rule of law in India, because these laws were arbitrary. These laws were not favorable to the people, and that's why we can say that British government has not started or began the rule of law in India. This is a scene where public meeting was held at Jallianwala Bagh on 13 April 1919, and this is a troop firing on the public. So this was a picture painted by the painter, and in this picture we can see these soldiers are firing, and these people are running here and there with fear, and there is one whale also to save themselves. They are getting in whale to save their life. Dear students, the next part of this lesson we will see in next period.